My name is Anthony King. Many of you may remember me from the Blood Brothers series I did in the past, where I vlogged my journey as a walk-on at Eastern Michigan University to become an NFL superstar. Well, I'll update you on my story a little bit later, but for right now, we're gonna focus on my son, A2.
What up, y'all? I'm Anthony King Jr., and my dream is to become a superstar in the league, just like my pops. The problem is, I'm nowhere near as good as my dad was. As the son of a former football star, most would think I'd naturally be gifted with skills and athleticism, but nah, that's certainly not the case.
A2 is what I would consider talented but unathletic. Now, don't get me wrong, the potential is there, but we still got to put it all together. I always jokingly say he must have got his mama's genes because it ain't no way he got that from me.
My dad wants me to follow in his footsteps, but he doesn't understand that I just want to be my own man. And it doesn't help that my uncle was also in the league either. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for their help, but I want to be able to make decisions for myself. It's like I have no say-so in my own life, and no one seems to get it.
I get it. A2 doesn't want to live in my shadow, and I understand that. But what I need for him to understand is everything he's trying to do, I've already done. And as a father, it's my job to put him in a position to where he can succeed. So I've used some of my resources and connections to get him a spot on the roster of my alma mater, Michigan State.
Little Anthony does not want to go to Michigan State. I've tried to talk to his father about this on several different occasions, but I can only say so much. If A2 isn't going to speak up for himself, then there's only so much I can do.
I feel like knowing where you're going is just as important as knowing where you come from. So before we go any further, why don't we take a second and look back at A2's upbringing? That way you get a chance to know him a little better. I remember like it was yesterday. I was a sophomore at EMU when Amari told me she was pregnant. Man, I sat and stared at that test for hours in total disbelief. I knew my life was about to change, but I certainly didn't expect what happened next. After a huge fight with the new offensive coordinator, I was kicked off the team at EMU. Not only that, but my family turned their backs on me. Listen, I found myself broke and pretty much homeless. Luckily, Amari's parents allowed me to come stay with them, and her pops got me a job at this lumber yard. I'll admit, I was miserable, but I was doing what I had to do as a man. Through the help of my big bro, I decided to give football one last shot. I ended up walking onto the team at Michigan State, and well, let's just say I did my thing. NFL scouts had begun to take notice of my play, and everything seemed to be going in the right direction. Well, that was until our Week 9 game on the road versus Nebraska, where I would go down with a season-ending shoulder injury. As upset as I was about being away from the team, that injury actually turned out to be a major blessing because I was able to be with Amari for A2's birth and the following months after. I balled out my senior year and ended up getting drafted as the 9th pick in the second round. My dream of making it to the league was finally completed. Not only that, but I was also able to take care of my family. I moved us to this nice spot overlooking the city. Mari was a stay-at-home wife and A2 was in private school. I mean, things were going great. We spent the next 4 years in Carolina and I became one of the premier stars of the league. But when it came time for my new contract, they was being funny with the money, so I had no choice but to go re-sign somewhere else. That's when I made one of the best decisions of my career. I signed a max contract with the LA Rams.
My pop signing with the Rams and moving us here to LA was the worst thing that could have happened. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good for him and his career, but to me, my life was so much better in North Carolina. My pops moved us into this dope-ass mansion. 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a pool, a jacuzzi, a basketball court. I mean, this place has everything you could ask for. But even with all of that, it still don't feel like a home. And that's because the main piece was always missing. The LA Lights have a funny way of changing people. And unfortunately, I feel like my pops got lost in the sauce. Growing up, I saw that dude more on TV and social media than I did at home. And whenever he was at home, it was like he was a shell of himself. Always on the phone, always replying to emails, and always in meetings.
See, what my son didn't understand was my play on the field alone wasn't enough to sustain the type of lifestyle he and his mother are used to living. He heard about the big contracts and figured we were set for life, but no, there's always still more work that needs to be done. This big ass mansion, the driveway full of cars, the vacations, the 5-star restaurants and private schools, taxes, I mean, all that stuff costs money. I had to work just as hard off the field as I did on the field, and if that meant sacrificing a little time at home with the family, then so be it.
I hated the fact that he valued his career more than his family, and I'll be honest, a part of me began to resent my dad. I wanted him to feel the same pain that I felt, so whenever he tried to bond and spend time with me, I acted as if I didn't want to be bothered. So he would just go give his attention to my mom's, which ended up only causing me to resent her too. I figured out the only time my dad would prioritize me and put me first was when I was in trouble. So I started to become a problem for my teachers at school. It got so bad a few times my pops would have to leave practice just to come home and whoop my ass. I didn't mind those beatings though. I mean, it actually made me feel important.
A2 started to show out at school and around the house with his mom. Looking back, I see that was just a cry for attention, but I didn't realize that in the moment. I knew with me being away so often things would probably only get worse, so his mother and I decided it would be best if he went and stayed with my brother out in Vegas until the end of the season.
I'm sure y'all remember my Uncle Reggie from the Sports Central series. He was a quarterback in the league for several years and had just retired before I moved out there. Well, I ended up staying with him for the next 2 years. I went to school in Vegas and then I come back to LA for the summer. My granny also lives out there. So between her and my uncle, I always was taken care of. If I'm being honest, those was really the best times in my life. Man, I was pissed when my dad made me move back.
I hung up my cleats and retired from the league right before A2's freshman year in high school. Now, I felt like I had a little more left in the tank, but I knew this was a very important time in my son's life, so it was very important for me to be there. I made a promise to myself that I would put in the same amount of effort at being a father as I did at being an athlete. The transition was pretty rough at first, but now I think we're in a much better place. It was my plan to have A2 go to Inglewood High just like me and his uncle, but his mama wasn't having none of that. Y'all gotta remember, she was born and raised in Michigan, so when she hears Inglewood, all she thinks about is drugs and violence, and the Inglewood families. I kept trying to tell her it was really a beautiful city, and it can give A2 a lot of character, but nah, bruh, she wasn't going for it. Instead, I ended up spending $22,240 a year sending him to private school. I still don't even know the name of that place. They just came home one day, let me know that there was a large sum of money missing out of my account, and he was officially enrolled, so yeah, I just went with it. Now the next step was getting my shorty a car. I never got to drive to school, so I wanted to make sure his high school experience was a lot better than mine. His moms and I ended up getting him a Scat Pack. Now he's really lucky I love him because she really wanted to get his ass a Camry. Finally, football season was here, and to my surprise, they had my son on the freshman team. I thought maybe he was just joking when he told me, but nah. He was dead serious. Now, I didn't want to get too involved too early. I know that's usually the quickest way to make a kid lose interest. So his first 2 years of playing high school football, I sat back and let the coaches coach. Yeah, I was just a spectator. But as soon as I realized they didn't know what the hell they was talking about, I had to step in. In just 1 year of me training A2, he went from being a sophomore playing on a sophomore team to being a junior and suiting up varsity. We put in a lot of work this summer, and I think this year he's really going to have a breakout season. When I decided to start this series, it was to document my son's journey to the NFL, but never did I think at any point we would be no longer speaking. I mean, I never thought I'd be the kind of dad my own son would run from, but here I am. Looking back on my career, I didn't have someone there to push me and motivate me to be great. So once A2 was born, I promised to be there to provide guidance so he didn't have to make the same mistakes I made and to always push him to be the best. But now, I see maybe I pushed a bit too hard. Going into A2's senior year of high school, I was determined to make it the most memorable year yet for myself and for my son. See, while I was playing in the league, I wasn't able to be around as much as I would have liked. So now that I was retired, it was my goal to make up for all that lost time. I mean, homecoming, parent-teacher conferences, weekends at the lake, you name it, I was there. Now, to most kids, having their pops around that much probably sounds amazing, but to a 17-year-old with a life of his own, it sounds like a punishment. Football season came around and I was excited. Hell, if I'm being honest, I was probably more excited than they too. We put in a lot of work that summer, so I was ready to see how he was going to perform. And to my surprise, he didn't do very well. I mean, don't get me wrong, he did his thing, but I expected so much more. And as much as I hate to admit it, I was kind of disappointed. A2 finished the season off being ranked as a 2-star prospect, and he had a handful of offers from a few D2 schools, but none of that even mattered because I already had things set up for him to join the team at Michigan State. See, I figured maybe he just redshirted his freshman year, put on some muscle and really learn the game. Then eventually the next year, he could probably compete for the starting spot. Well, that was the plan I had for my son, but it wasn't until a heated argument at the end of the season that I found out he had a plan of his own.
I just don't want to go.
I don't have any real connection to that school besides the fact that you went there a long ass time ago. You want me to follow your path so bad. You want me to be just like you. But I'm not you. I'm me. And I want to make my own decisions, man.
Man, you sound crazy as shit right now. You just so stupid. I'm trying to help your dumb ass.
I don't want your help.
All right, well, you know what? I'm gonna let your dumb ass crash out. And when you do, don't come looking for me to help either. After that argument, I was on 10. I felt like my son was not only being disrespectful, but also ungrateful. I decided that night to be completely done with the entire situation. Now, of course, Amari tried to get me to see things from A2's perspective, but my pride and ego just wouldn't allow it. The tension in the house was thick for the next few weeks. A2 and I barely spoke, and when we did, it was brief. I mean, we'd be in the same room and neither one of us would say a word. Well, National Signing Day came and we still weren't speaking, so I didn't even bother going. Although I definitely regret not being there for my son, I can honestly say I felt like he didn't want me to be there either. A2 ended up committing to Cerritos Community College, not far away from here in Norwalk. Now, his decision to go to a community college instead of Michigan State confused the hell out of me, but as you're about to see, he definitely knew what he was doing. Now, to this day, I can honestly say I don't know where my relationship with my son went wrong. I mean, yeah, I wasn't around as much as I should have been while he was growing up, but I was working. Yeah, I pushed him extremely hard, but I only wanted for him to succeed and be the best. And yeah, I tried to get him to go to Michigan State, but nah, it's a lot deeper than that. There's something that I did that's caused A2 to despise me, and I've been trying to figure out exactly what it is. But like I said before, it's been kind of hard because he won't talk to me. Dropping A2 off at college was emotional for the both of us. Other than the time he spent out in Vegas with my mom and my brother, this was the first time he was going to be alone. I could tell he was a bit afraid, and honestly, so was I. But all those issues we were having seemed to disappear that day, and a few days afterwards as well. We talked on the phone just about every day, and we seemed to be in a pretty good space. Well, that was up until the start of the football season. That's when A2 seemed to completely shut down. He just out of the blue stopped answering all my calls, but he still picked up for his mom. I didn't know what to make of the whole situation, so I just left it alone. But to my surprise, A2 had been switched from wide receiver to tight end. I was pissed that he didn't tell me. I mean, that's a huge deal, and I figured it would be something that he would have shared with me, but it became clear that he didn't want me to have anything to do with his football career. My son put in work at Cerritos. I can't even lie, at first I was upset and didn't even want to go to the game, mainly because the coaches moved him to tight end. I mean, I know to most of y'all at home watching it may not seem like that big of a deal, but in my head, all it meant was he'd never get the ball and would spend the entire game blocking. But to my surprise, it was the exact opposite. He became the go-to target in the offense, and he probably got the ball more than he would have had he stayed at receiver. A2 has always had the talent, but he never developed the skills and the footwork needed to be an elite wide receiver, but he's the perfect fit for a tight end. He dominated all season and ended up being selected as a first-team All-American in only his freshman year. At the end of the season, he received offers from several small 2- and 3-star Division I programs, but he eventually committed to ULM. Now, I have no idea why out of all the schools he chose to go play there, but I'm just happy he finally made it to the big leagues. All right, so here we are, the first game of the season. ULM is at home taking on the FCS Southeast Pandas. Now, I've been trying to tell A2 how important it is for him to have a solid game because you only get one first impression. And I know that if he's able to prove to his quarterback early on that he's a reliable target, that'll be very beneficial for him in the long run. But of course, he ain't want to listen to me, so we just gonna let him do his thing. Now, this is his first Division I game, so I'm not gonna be too critical of his gameplay. I just really want to see what he's been working on. Now, I can't lie, here early on, I am pretty impressed. I mean, it seems like every play, the quarterback is at least looking A2's way. You know what I'm saying? That's all we want is a look. And every time he throw it to him, he seems to be making the catches. So that's about all you can ask for. Now, if there was one critique, I would probably say his route running. I mean, you'll probably notice that his routes are a little bit rounded off and not really as crisp and as sharp as they should be. But again, he isn't a traditional receiver. He's playing in the slot and he's coming off the line off as a tight end. So, hey, I guess that's kind of expected. Now, you got to stay on your feet right there, son. Yeah, man, fight for the extra yards. But here we are right inside the red zone. Let me see what they do with it. Okay. Oh, my goodness. Okay, yeah, that was a beautiful dart by the quarterback. I got to give it to him. Here we go. Next drive, 21-9. Okay, now you probably could have got at least 15 more feet in bounds. I don't know what, he must have lost track of his spacing, but okay, on the real, oh, he got to step on the defender on the wheel route. Take it home, son. Okay, yeah, that's what I like to see, man. My boy making plays happen on the wheel route. Got his first Division I touchdown, and of course, ULM will go ahead and take the win at home, 35-9. Week number 2, they be back at home taking on the UAB Blazers. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think UAB stands for University of Alabama at Birmingham or something like that, bro. But this game should actually be a lot tougher than the first game because, I mean, this is a tougher opponent. So I'm really excited to see how A2 and this ULM offense is going to perform versus some tougher competition. I mean, early on, they seem to be moving the ball pretty easily up the field, but hey, like I said, it's still early on. Okay, they got A2 on the flat route. Way to pick up the first down, son. Okay, we inside that red zone. This is where you need to make plays. I don't know what route Buddy was running, bruh, but it seemed to work, man. First touchdown of the game. I can't complain, bruh. I can't complain about a touchdown, even though that route was ugly. And right there, he probably could have scored again if he would have caught the ball in stride. The quarterback threw it a little bit behind him, but it's all good. Coming over the middle, way to pick up the first down. Okay, yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing, bruh. Okay, we got the curl route. Let me see how you gonna run it. Okay. Hey, man, this quarterback got a cannon on him. I got to give it to him. Coming across the middle. I don't know why he acting like he's scared to get hit, man. You got to pick up that first down. Here we are inside the red zone. A2 got the flat. Oh, my goodness, bro. I am so impressed with General Booty, bro. He be throwing darts. And no, I'm not on no weird stuff. That's literally the quarterback's name, General Booty. But anyways, man, ULM was able to pick up the easy win at home, beating UAB 28-17, and A2 had a pretty solid game. Hey, man, it just got real. Yes, sir, it just got real, man. ULM is on the road, week 3, taking on the big bad Texas Longhorns. Now, this is the #1 team in the nation. I don't know about y'all, bro, but when I was playing, these are the games that got me excited. Like, I couldn't even sleep the night before these games. These big games when everybody in the world is going to be watching. Yeah, that meant it was time for me to take stage. Now, I kind of crept up on A2 before the game, and I told him, like, son, listen, man, it don't really matter if y'all win or lose this game. All that matters is that you have an amazing performance and get your name out there. But, of course, he wasn't trying to listen. He was all on some team first type stuff. And I can't blame him because I guess that is the way that we raised him. But, I mean, come on, bro. You got to be a little bit selfish and think about the bigger picture. Midway through the second quarter, I'll be real, bro. I'm pretty impressed, man. A2 is having a tremendous impact on the game. I mean, he seems to be the quarterback's first option and his safety valve. You know, that's a tremendous position to be in. Another first down right there. I'm tremendously impressed, bro. 5 catches, 55 yards, and it's only this first half. Oh, bruh. Now that's bad right there. I wouldn't necessarily put that on A2 or the quarterback. I'll just say the defender made a hell of a play, bro. They was right outside the red zone too. Bro, back-to-back interceptions. Oh, yeah, it might be over with. Now, I know that play right there just stripped all momentum from the ULM offense, bro. That's horrible. And it's right before the second half too. Let's see if they can put some points on the board. Good blocking up front. Get a quarterback time. 33 seconds left. Let's see what they could do. A2 got a slant route. Okay, way to pick up the first down. 21 seconds left in this first half. A2 got the go route. Let's see if he can make a play. He beat his defender. Oh, come on, bro. If it hits your hands, you got to catch it. Jumping ahead to the fourth quarter. It's not looking too good, man. ULM still has only 3 points for the entire game. Texas with 24, bro. It might be a little bit too little too late. Now, the thing that surprised me is ULM has been able to move the ball against this Texas defense pretty easily, but several costly mistakes have put them in a bad position. Now, they were able to score right here, but unfortunately, it'll be too little too late as they would suffer their first loss of the season. Week 4 of the season, ULM will be on the road taking on Troy in a rain game. Now, if you ask me, this is probably the most important game of the season. And the reason I say that is because they're coming off a loss. If you know anything about sports, man, losses can make or break a team. So I'm pretty excited to see how they're going to respond. I mean, A2 told me that the team was still in a pretty good headspace, so let's see how they play. With only 19 seconds left in the first quarter, General Booty drops back in the pocket and finds the wide open receiver up the sideline for 6, giving ULM the first lead of the day. The defense was able to make a huge goal line stop and put the ball right back into the hands of the offense. Now, they had the full length of the field to go, but if they were able to get a score before halftime, That would be clutch. Now, I don't know what's going on with A2. He's had a few mental errors. Of course, y'all just seen the drop, and then he got the clipping penalty right here. Definitely not helping his team. With just over 40 seconds left to go, everybody had go routes, and there he goes again. General Booty strikes again, finding his receiver up that same sideline as he did in the first quarter for another touchdown, bruh. As I've been telling y'all, bro, I'm extremely impressed with the quarterback. Now, jumping ahead to the third quarter, my son Anthony would finally have a positive impact on the game, picking up the huge first down. But the game is still far from over. I mean, it's 14 even. Troy scored 2 touchdowns of their own, so somebody got to break away and take the lead. Now, it looks like, of course, everybody got go routes. Anthony beat his defender, got to get past the safety. Come on, son. If it hit your hands, as I've been saying, bro, you got to catch it. But let's see if he's able to make up for that play. Coming across the middle, wide open. Okay, I thought he was going to take that in. Good play. Way to make up for it. Let's see if you can find the end zone, son. Find the end zone for me. Wide open. Hey, players make plays, man. Way to find the end zone. That touchdown and the field goal would actually secure the win for ULM, as they were able to beat a very tough Troy team on the road. Hey man, week number 5, ULM back at the crib, but hey, y'all gotta peep these uniforms. I ain't gonna lie, bro, I think these uniforms might be top 10 in all of college football. I ain't seen nothing like it, but anyways, like I said, ULM back at the crib taking on 2-2 James Madison. Let's see how my son do. Now this week is extremely important for A2 personally, because he's coming off a game where he had a few mental errors, a few drop passes, unnecessary penalties. So I'm hoping he comes out and plays with a chip on his shoulder this week, because you definitely don't want to establish the reputation as a tight end that can't catch the ball. Yeah, that's definitely not a good look. Down by 3 right before halftime, they definitely need to get in position to score. Just over a minute left, Anthony on the go route. Okay, sure hands, way to come down with the pass, and that play actually put them in position to score, which they did, taking a 4-point lead going into the second half. The ULM defense was able to get the stop, giving the ball back to the offense midway through the third quarter with an 8-point lead. A score right here could go ahead and seal the game, and it looks like that's exactly what happened. My boy A2 got past the defense, bruh, and took it in for 6, man. I don't know, bruh. It just gives me like a different type of joy watching my son out there as opposed to me being out there, bruh. But anyways, ULM was able to pull off the victory at home 21-6 over JMU, improving their record to 5-1 on the season. Next on the schedule is an in-conference opponent, Southern Mississippi. Now, ULM definitely can't afford to take these guys lightly, even though they're not having the best season, sitting at 2-3. But I know that the ULM offense is actually coming out oh my God, bro, that is the worst thing that could have possibly happened. On your first drive, you throw an interception, but not just any interception, a pick 6. Southern Mississippi actually jumped out to a 14-0 lead. A2 in this ULM offense definitely needs to score, and they need to score quick, bruh. 2nd and 9 at the 46-yard line. It looks like A2 got the go route, and that has actually become his bread and butter, bruh. I thought he was finna score right there, but he was able to move us right inside the red zone, and bruh, another interception. The Booty General threw another interception, man. Back-to-back interceptions coming out in the game, bruh. That's a horrible way to start. Now we got a minute, what is that, like 2 minutes left? Yeah, we got about 2 minutes left to find the end zone. Let's see. Okay, finally, like I told y'all earlier in this episode, man, A2 is actually the safety valve. He's the first option and the safety valve. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, okay. I'm sitting here yapping, and my boy General Booty actually threw a dime to the end zone. Coming out in the third quarter, down by 10 points. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done, but I'm pretty confident this ULM high-powered offense can make it happen. Now, the one thing I wish they would do was run the ball a little bit more. Yeah, they definitely are lacking a balanced offense, and you notice that damn near every single possession, the defense is dropped back in zone because they know they're not going to run the ball. But anyways, here we are on 4th and goal. We need a touchdown, dropping back in the pocket, and incomplete, man. That is a huge missed opportunity for this ULM offense. All right, man, here we go. They ain't gonna keep giving y'all chances to score. Y'all need to find the end zone. Y'all done threw interceptions. Y'all done got inside the red zone, went 4 and out. Like, come on, bro. We need to put something up top. Okay, let me see what we got. A2 wide open. Can he do it? Can he do? Oh, okay. Yes, sir. Mr. Clutch, man. Call my son Mr. Clutch from now on, man. Like I keep telling y'all, he is that safety valve. He's that safety valve, man. It's undeniable at this point. Hey, man, listen up, bruh. It's still a lot of game left, but it's looking good. Listen to me, man. Y'all not listening. It's still a lot of game left, my boy, but it's looking good. ULM is in the perfect spot to do something that I didn't think was going to be possible. After all the mishaps and all the mess ups, they might actually come back and win, bro. We right outside the red zone. No, we're inside the red zone. Okay, yeah, let's go. We got the slants. A2 got the flat right across the middle. Okay, can he? I thought he scored. One more. Let's get in there. Good blocking. Okay, touchdown, bro. It's over with, man. But not too fast. Way too much time was left on the clock, and Southern Mississippi actually came back down and scored, handing ULM their second loss on the season. All right, so A2 in this ULM team is on the road taking on South Alabama. Now, this is yet another conference opponent. That means they're in the same conference, which means this game is very important. You can't afford to lose more than one game in your conference. I mean, you can, but the chances of you winning the conference title are slim to none. And you throwing an interception on your first drive is definitely not going to help either. Like, this is pretty much the same exact... This is literally the same exact way last game started. 2 interceptions on both opening drives. Bruh, they start off in the hole again, 21-0, and it's only the first quarter. This already isn't looking good, man. So it looks like they going all out. Like, they see that they're in a hole and they see that something needs to give. And just like I always say, man, my son is a safety valve. Whenever you in trouble, look his way. Hey, man, that's like a 75-yard touchdown from A2. Hopefully that gives them the momentum they need to turn things around. Now, if you watched A2 play in high school, you know that he always had that athleticism and that crazy breakaway speed, but he just kind of lacked the skills, if you will, to play wide receiver. So I got to give him credit, man. Transitioning to tight end was honestly a genius move. I definitely didn't know how his skills would translate to this new position, but so far so good. Like, he's literally keeping his team in a game at this point. I mean, look, bruh, there it is right there. A huge play over the top of the defense. If it wasn't for Anthony Jr., bro, this would be a blowout. Hopefully he can find the end zone once more before, right on target, man. Unfortunately, that touchdown was too little too late, man. They would actually go ahead and suffer another loss, 52-28 on the road versus South Alabama. That's the second conference loss, man. It's not looking good at all. Man, bro, here we are, week 10 of the season, and the team is sitting at 4-3. 3 losses, 4 wins, bro. Like I said before, it's not looking good, and honestly, before this game, I had to have a pretty tough conversation with A2. I was just real with him, and I told him, like, bro, all that team first and being the go-to guy, all of that stuff is cool, bro, but it's time to really start being selfish and start worrying about your future. I mean, yeah, he could still play within the offense and be that safety valve. He could be a team player, all of that good stuff, but, bro, it's time to stuff the stat sheet. It's time to start focusing on our future and what our next move is going to be next season. Are we going to stay another year here at ULM with Officer Booty, or we going to test out the transfer portal? So here we are, yet again, 4th quarter on the road, down big. I don't know what else to say, bruh. Things definitely aren't working out, but it looks like A2 is not ready to pack it in, bruh. I thought he was finna score, man. A little bit more endurance, he probably would have took that to the house. Right outside the goal line, let's see what they do. A2, okay, great second effort, bruh. Great second effort, man. He's doing his thing. Now, that touchdown actually dropped the lead down to only 5 points. So if they could put together a drive here, they might pick up a victory. All right, let's see what they can do. They've been able to move the ball pretty well so far, but there's still like half of the field to go. Okay, that'll definitely help moving us across the 50. All right, let me see. Get us into the red zone. There you go. Good catch, A2. All right, here we go. Right outside the goal line. Find the ball. Find the ball, A2. Let me see. Oh, yes, sir. Wide open across the middle, giving us the 1 point. Wait, no, we need a field goal. Wait, no, yeah, I'm tripping. They won. That gave us the 1 point lead. Look, they thought they lost. They so used to losing, they thought they lost for a second, man. But look, bro, ULM was able to go ahead and pick up their 5th win on the road. All right, so look, I'm finna let y'all in on a little bit of insider information. I know I shouldn't be doing this, but we supposed to be family, and y'all been rocking with me since my first series, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, the game y'all watching right now is actually gonna be A2's last game of this season. Now, I know you probably wondering what's going on, but let's just say he's gonna go down with a season-ending injury. Now, I know that may not make sense when you first hear it, but you gotta look at the landscape. Like, bro is having a hell of a season. He's leading the entire nation in receiving yards and receptions, but his team is horrible. So what is he really playing for? To go out there and risk injury? No, that's not smart. It was a tough conversation, but credit to my son, he saw the bigger picture and he took my advice. So we just gonna go ahead and shut things down the next season. Now, you'll probably notice that A2 didn't play in the team's last game versus Texas State. And if you look at the record, they lost. Well, that was a part of the plan. I mean, who cares if you have a huge game versus Texas State? I knew it would be a lot more eyes on this game versus Auburn, especially considering they're number 14th in the nation. And it's a televised game, bro. So I had A2 sit out versus Texas State, and I told him to go out here this week and put on a show. Now, I know a lot of y'all probably won't agree with my decision, but it's my job as a father to protect my son. Besides, it's only a few games left in the season, and who knows if this team will even make a bowl game. A2 dedicated itself to this ULM football team all year. Now it's time to wrap things up and focus on our next move.